Hi, I'm Maryanne Nicholls, and this current video blog is the fourth in a four-part series on getting to know for those of us who have learned never to say no. The biggest block to getting to know for people who avoid ever saying no is this: feeling secure enough inside themselves to be able to deal with any consequence with grace. It isn't about controlling the narrative or the situation or the people in that situation. It is only about feeling secure in your own person in order to weather anything that happens outside of yourself. How can you get to that place? There are three steps. First, gathering the resources and tools you need to be able to master saying no in any situation, work, life, or family. Second, adjusting your attitude and approach towards yourself and towards conflicts that make it more a challenge than something to avoid. And third, developing the self-love and self-respect that makes it possible to be centered no matter what happens. Let's look at each of these. Resources. This is the most straightforward to access because there is a lot available in the literature and online. Nobody needs to be ready in any particular way to begin to use these resources. Although, once you're secure in yourself, the resources are much easier to use. Here are some of those resources. Number one, be direct without being rude. Be polite but firm. I suspect that you might already do this to a fault. That is, being so polite that no is lost in the process. You might explain too much or add unnecessary words that cloud the no. Try using fewer words and no excuses. Number two, use the I statement. Focusing on what you need instead of what the other needs helps not only you, but the other person understand better. For instance, I need to focus on my own resources and priorities, so I will need to say no. Number three, acknowledge the request before saying no. Begin by acknowledging what the person says, validating it in the process before saying no. For instance, I know how important this is to you, and I want to help, but I can't commit to it at this time. Number four, offer alternatives. It can really help the person hear your no to hear about options, if they are available to you and if you do not feel pressured into offering them. Number five, not now. To distinguish between no and not right now leaves the door open for something that is more doable in the future. Here are some scripts that can support you begin the process of saying no. Thank you so much for asking. Normally, I'd love to help, but won't be able to at this time. Or, I'd love to help, but I have other commitments. How about, I won't be able to help you at this time and wish you the best with it. Or, thank you so much for the invitation, but I'll have to give it a pass. And for someone you genuinely respect, you might say, I respect you, I like you, and no, I can't do what you ask. Attitude and approach. Some of us have a much easier time saying no to strangers or acquaintances, to people who mean less to us than our family or our boss. Once you begin to master the resources of saying no, it's common to be able to do so everywhere except with your family. Your family grew with you, and no, you never say no. For you to begin now would be a shock to them that they might resist. There's also the implied threat of rejection, of being cast out, especially if you've witnessed this happening with other family members. That's why learning to put your welfare above that of anybody else's is so critical. Yes, it's selfish, but selfish in a way that benefits everybody. It requires a change in the attitude you bring to any relationship, including those of your family. The attitude change is this: I expect to be treated the way I treat others. It's a different way of stating the golden rule, which is treat others as you want them to treat you. This is saying, I expect to be treated by you the way I treat you. By altering the golden rule to focus on you initially, it's as if you have added yourself back into the relationships that you have with others, that you raise yourself up to the level you hold all others. Once you have altered your attitude and always include yourself along with others, this automatically changes the way you will approach potential conflict, openly and calmly rather than guardedly and anxiously. Self-love and self-respect. Changing your attitude to always include yourself when you include others requires that you love and accept yourself. It doesn't require that you become perfect, but that you accept who you are in this moment, just as you accept who others are. With self-love and self-respect, it becomes possible to be able to mend and then maintain your personal boundaries and learn how to assertively say no without any inner stress. We humans aren't born perfect and know everything all at once. Our time on earth is one of testing, learning, and growing. Being able to accept ourselves just as we are allows an opening for making mistakes, learning from the mistakes, and becoming better at whatever it is we're doing. That's true for learning to say no. When you begin to say no, it will probably feel awkward, uncomfortable, and sometimes scary. You will make mistakes. That's all part of the process of mastering this very valuable art of saying no. For instance, saying no to a family member will take time, and you will likely need to repeat no over and over before it sinks in. And that's okay. Eventually, it will sink in, and it will open up the possibility of creating new and deeper connections that weren't possible when you were always hiding behind never saying no. I hope this series on getting to know has been useful to you. If you're interested in hearing more, I'd love it if you would subscribe to my channel so that if you're notified of anything new I add, you'll be there. Best wishes to you.